Part 79. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanba. Chapter 781. While on the train, I called Yu Chan. After the Luo Tian Daijiao ceremony, Yu Chan and I exchanged mobile phone numbers. The purpose of exchanging numbers with Yu Chan is also very simple. Because Master Ghost's whereabouts are unknown, he is very likely to be in Xiangzi. If I come to Xiangzi, I can contact Yu Chan to take care of me. Although Yu Chan was born in the mountains, she has never been out of a mountain village. It is said that Yueshan's parents are both from the city, and she was just left in the Miao ethnic group since she was a child. The call didn't go through, and I didn't continue the call. I turned my head, looked at Su Tianqian beside me, and asked, "Master, where is the Feng Shui place in western Hunan, one of the four evil spirits?" Su Tianqian looked out the window and said slowly, "I don't know yet. Only after arriving in western Hunan can I deduce the direction of the mountains." I nodded. The science of Feng Shui is as mysterious as it is mysterious. No matter how much I say here, it is just talk on paper. You must practice it yourself to find it. Soon, we arrived in Xiangzi in the evening. Miao Fengluan is very familiar with this place. Because during the time he was trapped in the cave, he relied on wandering to pass the time. When traveling in a fugue, the soul can leave the body and travel thousands of miles in a day. We randomly found a hotel to stay at, and I asked, "Fengluan, where did you and Master Gui meet?" "You mean Brother Tiansheng?" Miao Fengluan lowered his eyebrows in thought. "I met him at the Jingmen City God's temple." Jingmen City God is one of the four major city god temples. Miao Fengluan raised his head and said to me, "When I met him, his soul was damaged and he was being hunted. I helped him escape. After that, he heard that I was going to marry the cave god, so he chose to steal the bride, and then he started to have a grudge against you." I nodded. Master Ghost is the heir of Jingmen City God, but he was hunted down. From this, we can infer that Jingmen City God suffered a change. Master Gui once told me about this matter. I hesitated and said, "Let's do this. You and I will go to Jingmen City God to explore the truth. Maybe we can find the whereabouts of the Ghost Master." Miao Fengluan nodded in agreement without thinking. She said, "Okay, Brother Tiancheng has disappeared for so long, and I am a little worried. Let's go and take a look." Miao Fengluan and I knocked on Su Tianxuan's door. At this moment, Su Tianqian was standing by the window looking at the night scene outside. I told her about my going to Jingmen City God. After hearing this, Su Tianqian nodded and said, "Be careful when you go. I won't go with you as a teacher. I still have things to do." The thing Su Tianqian mentioned should be to find the place of the four evils. I nodded, and then left the hotel with Miao Fengluan. Miao Fengluan and I were walking on the street. The night in the city was bustling, beautiful and charming. When night fell, it turned into a sea of lights and a world of light. The lights on both sides of the road were like two long dragons. Towards the distance, Miao Fengluan looked a little excited. I saw this and asked, "Are you happy?" Miao Fengluan smiled sweetly at me and replied, "That's right. Before, I could only come here in a soul state. I could only see but not touch. I couldn't even smell the smell in the air." Miao Fengluan had a beautiful smile, the corners of her mouth and eyebrows were slightly raised, and her two small dimples were particularly cute. I smiled and said, "I'll go shopping with you more from now on. It's not good to be bored in Jiyuntang every day." Miao Fengluan happily wanted to have a child. Her innocence were like a gem in the world, shining brightly. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanba. Chapter 782. Since it was getting late, there were pedestrians on both sides of the street. So I decided to take Miao Fengluan for a walk here and wait until later to go to Jingmen City God. I didn't realize that Miao Fengluan was a snack food before. It was fine at first, but after arriving at the snack street, Miao Fengluan couldn't walk, and her star-like eyes kept staring at the snacks on the street. Helpless, I could only take her to buy the same snacks one after another. When she finally ate them, her belly bulged slightly and her face was full of satisfaction. I looked at the time and it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Miao Fengluan and I walked towards the Jingmen City God's temple. Soon, Miao Fengluan and I arrived in front of the Jingmen City God's temple. The layout of Jingmen City God is similar to that of Tianfu City God, and it is also a famous local scenic spot. However, it is now closed at night. Therefore, Miao Fengluan and I could only choose to enter through other methods. The wall of Jingmen City God's temple is 7 or 8 meters high, and there are no points of support around it. It is very unrealistic to climb up. However, it was not difficult for me. I took Miao Fengluan's jade hand and opened the Nine Eyes Heaven realm. I directly used the power of the Nine Eyes Heavenly domain to pass through the wall and arrived at the city god's temple. Miao Fengluan and I were in a small garden, and the sound of rushing streams could be heard from time to time. This Jingmen City God's temple must have temple keepers just like the Tianfu City God's temple. Miao Fengluan and I have to be careful, it will be troublesome if we are discovered. At this time, Miao Fengluan tugged on the corner of my clothes and whispered, "Lu Su, I'll use Shinayan. This will make my movements easier." I looked at Miao Fengluan, a little worried about whether she could bear the side effects Shinayan would have on her. Miao Fengluan saw the worry in my eyes. She smiled sweetly at me and said, "Don't worry. Now I'm very skilled in controlling Shinayan. If it's just the two of us, I can last for half a year. How many hours?" I was stunned for a moment, and then I realized that I seemed to have overlooked something. That is, while my strength is growing, Miao Fengluan is also improving. I nodded and said, "Don't force yourself." Miao Fengluan signaled me to rest assured. She stretched out her hand, and then a hazy white light spread out from her palm, wrapping me and her in it. Shinayan is now completed. Now Miao Fengluan and I don't have to fearlessly explore the city god's temple. The two of us walked out of the small garden side by side and came to the front of the temple. The air was filled with a strong aroma of offerings, and I looked towards the lobby where the statue of the city god was enshrined. After hesitating again and again, he walked into it with Miao Fengluan. In the lobby, not only the statue of the city god is enshrined, but there are also statues of black and white impermanence, a bull's head, a horse's face, and many ghosts. There are many ghosts in the underworld, black and white are impermanent, and there are also many bull-headed and horse-faced ones. Take black and white impermanence as an example. They can be a profession or a name. But there are only two true black and white impermanent gods. They are Fanwuju and Xiebian in folklore. The duty of black and white impermanence is not as simple as seducing the soul. They are the shady men of the underworld. It is the existence that leads the yin soldiers. As for Xiang Yi, he is a seductress. After looking around, I didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Just when Miao Fengluan and I were about to leave, a man walked in. It was an old lady. Her waist was stooped, her face was full of pockmarks and wrinkles, and she looked very scary. In addition, she was lifeless and didn't feel like a living person. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanba. Chapter 783. The old lady came to the statue of the city god and bowed respectfully 3 times. Then he said, "City god, this is a message from Zhang Yuchain to you." As she spoke, the old lady took out a transmission talisman from her pocket. Seeing this scene, I frowned. Zhang Yuchain is colluding with the Jingmen city god. The statue of the city god emits a dazzling light. The golden light gathered into a human shape in front of the main hall. A short man with a deer head, rat eyes, a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks came into my eyes. I swear, I have never seen such an ugly person in my life. Moreover, I can't feel any awe-inspiring aura in him, only evil aura. The Jingmen city god stretched out his middle finger and index finger to hold the transmission talisman, and muttered something in his mouth. With the sound effect of the telegraph, a beam of light penetrated into the eyebrows of the Jingmen city god. At this moment, I really want to know what Zhang Yuchang said to him. But there is nothing I can do. Even though there is a hidden world, if I use Taoism, the Jingmen city god will notice it. After Jingmen city god heard what was conveyed in the transmission talisman, he said to the old lady, "I understand." Then he put his hands together, and a simple, golden official seal appeared in his palm. "You hand over the city god seal to Zhang Yuchang's men, and I will go over to the Gusi on Corpse Mountain after I finish dealing with the remnants." The old lady took the city god, bowed 3 times to the Jingmen city god, and then withdrew. Corpse Mountain Gusi? What is that place? From the conversation between the Jingmen city god and the old lady, I can tell that Zhang Yuchang is not here. He just wanted the seal of the city god of Jingmen city. The Corpse Mountain Gusi mentioned by Jingmen city god must be closely related to Zhang Yuchang. It is very likely that it is one of the 4 evil places we have been looking for. I glanced at Miao Fengluan and gave her a look, and Miao Fengluan understood. The 2 of us followed the old lady and walked out of the Chenghuang temple. The old lady held the city god in her hand and walked southward. Finally, she walked out of the suburbs and came to the barren mountains. The effective time of Shinayan has expired. However, this did not have much impact on Miao Fengluan and me. With the strength of the old lady in front of me, as long as the 2 of us don't make any noise, she won't notice us. If Shenyan failed when we first arrived at the city god's temple, we would be in trouble. The old lady walked all the way to the barren mountains and came to a bridge. Miao Fengluan and I hid in the darkness and secretly watched everything happening in front of us. The bright moon is shining high, and the cold moonlight pours down, covering the river surface with a layer of silvery white. The night wind blows, the water ripples, and the silvery river surface flickers, which is very eye-catching. At this moment, a tall man walked slowly from the other side of the bridge. He stepped out of the darkness and bathed in the moonlight. It was a man, tall, with a stern face, wearing armor, dressed like General Gouda. I seemed to have seen this person somewhere. I thought about it carefully and finally found clues in my long silent memory. In addition to the statue of Zhang Yuchang, there are several other statues in Tianfu City God Temple. One of the statues was dressed exactly like the man in front of me. It seems that he should be Zhang Yuchang's subordinate. According to legend, each city god had 6, or even 8, generals under his command. Their duty is to command the yin soldiers under the city god and lead the troops to attack when necessary. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 784. The 2 of them didn't know what they were talking about. There was no sound at all from where Miao Fengluan and I were. I glanced at Miao Fengluan and asked, "Can you still use Shinayan?" Miao Fengluan nodded and replied, "Okay." I looked happy and said to her quickly, "You cast Shenyan on me, you stay here and don't run around, do you hear me?" Miao Fengluan nodded obediently. She also knew that following me might cause trouble for me. A hazy white light enveloped me, and I walked towards the ancient bridge. As I was walking, I heard 2 people talking. My city god said that after he has dealt with the remnants, he will go to Corpse Mountain Gusi to activate the magic circle. Said the old lady. After hearing this, the general frowned and said with some displeasure, "How long has it been? The remnants of the Xie family have not been completely wiped out." The old lady shook her head and said, "No, that Xie Tiansheng is still there. He summoned the remaining strength of the Xie family to take back the Jingmen city god. However, they have been trapped in the Suolongjing by my city god. It won't take long. After a long time, they will lose their minds. After hearing this, the general raised a sneer on his lips and said, "Why are we still keeping them? Just kill them." The old lady shook her head and said, "Killing is a heartbreaking thing. My city god's intention is to make the Xie family completely heartbroken and kill each other." Hearing this, my heart slowly sank. Xie Tiansheng is Master Ghost, and he is in danger now. The general's eyes were full of joking, and he mocked unceremoniously, "That ugly thing, if he didn't have the help of the Tianfu city god, how could he have transformed from a fierce ghost to the current city god? Where are the things? Have you brought them?" The old lady raised the Cheng Huang seal in her hand. "Brought it?" Just when the general was about to take over the seal of the city god, I quickly took the seal of the city god in my hand before him. Who is it?" The general's expression froze, and he immediately roared at the surrounding people. When he saw the city god seal suspended in mid-air, he instantly understood what was going on. He raised his right hand and hit me with the palm. I condensed my expression, cast Nine Eyes Heavenly Domain, and left the place instantly. When he reappeared, he was already on the other side of the bridge. Court death. The yin qi around the general's body surged, and he rushed straight towards me. I'm too lazy to bother with him. Rescuing Master Ghost is the most important thing. As for why I snatched the city god's seal, the reason is very simple, that is, the city god's seal is the right of the city god. Although it cannot command the yin soldiers of Jingmen city god, it has other great effects. When Miao Fengluan saw me running towards her, she quickly cast Chinayan and came towards me. I directly threw the Cheng Huang seal in my hand to her. Miao Fengluan caught it and then used Chinayan on the Cheng Huang seal. The city god seal disappeared instantly from the sight of the old lady and the general. I took Miao Fengluan's hand, opened the Nine Eyes Heavenly Domain again, and disappeared. When Miao Fengluan and I appeared again, we were already on the road. The general's roar came from the direction of the ancient bridge. Who is it? I don't want to stay here any longer, so I'd better go back to the hotel as soon as possible and tell Su Tianxian what just happened. Miao Fengluan and I walked back along the way we came. But before walking too far, one after another yin soldiers appeared on both sides of the road. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 785. These evil soldiers have a very clear purpose, that is to find us. I stopped and looked around, my expression slowly becoming serious. The road stretched forward gracefully along the mountain. Behind me were the undercover soldiers of the Jingmen city god. It would be a bit difficult to leave here and successfully return to the hotel. Because if you walk here, it will take at least an hour. The effective time of Miao Fengluan Chinayan is only half an hour. Lu Su, what should we do? Miao Fengluan asked me with worry on his face. I pondered for a moment, took out the Cheng Huang seal from my pocket and handed it to her, saying, "Give this to my master, and I will cut off the queen here." But, can you do it alone with so many yin soldiers? Miao Fengluan's eyebrows were filled with worry. I smiled at her and said, "Don't worry, nothing will happen to me." My words faltered and I continued, "Didn't I ask you to move reinforcements?" Miao Fengluan hesitated and took the city god seal from my hand again and again. Then you must pay attention to safety. I will bring Master Tianxian to rescue you as soon as possible. I nodded and said, "You should also pay attention to your safety." After that, Miao Fengluan took the Cheng Huang seal and left in a hurry along the kilometer. As the distance between me and her grew farther and farther, the effectiveness of Chinayan also weakened. It was not until I could no longer see Miao Fengluan in my sight that Chinayan completely failed. And I was instantly exposed to the sight of all the underworld soldiers. The Jingmen Yin soldiers directly surrounded me, and I looked at the yin soldiers in front of me coldly. There are a lot of these yin soldiers, and the yin energy emanating from their bodies is also very powerful. It seems that they are not ordinary yin soldiers. I held my right hand in the air, and the heart sword was in my hand. During the rooster crowing stage, the heart sword was damaged by the Pleiades chicken, but the heart sword is a condensed object of my own will and will not really disappear. The Jingman yin soldiers drew out the long swords from their waists and attacked me. I looked stern and fought with them with my heart sword in hand. These yin soldiers can be considered to be top-notch in terms of moral conduct and skill. With physical combat, I can't gain the slightest advantage. I used the power of the Nine Eyes heavenly domain to distance myself from the Jingman yin soldiers. I took a deep breath and called out the ghost sea. The inky darkness slowly condensed, and finally covered the road, and then, a melodious bugle sounded. The yin soldiers slowly emerged from the sea of ghosts. There are 30,000 yin soldiers in the netherworld ghost sea. Naturally, it is impossible for me to summon all 30,000 yin soldiers. Moreover, these 30,000 yin soldiers are my trump card against Zhang Yucheng. There were not 100 but also 80 yin soldiers emerging from the sea of ghosts and ghosts. Moreover, these yin soldiers were dressed like the yin soldiers of the Han dynasty. In terms of yin soldiers' conduct, the Qin dynasty was naturally more powerful. However, I have a special affection for these yin soldiers of the Han dynasty, as if they were really my brothers. I think this is probably related to my memory. I don't know much about the Qin dynasty, but I have a deep impression on the Han dynasty because of Huaxiu and Huo Qubing. The yin soldiers of the Han dynasty all knelt down on one knee and saluted me. I looked coldly at the Jingman yin soldiers around me, and said coldly, "Go up, destroy them all." Yes. The yin soldiers shouted in unison. In an instant, a sinister wind blew violently along the entire road, and the atmosphere became extremely eerie and scary. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanba. Chapter 786. The yin soldiers of the Han dynasty knew how to cooperate better than the yin soldiers in the previous Sea of Ghosts. They quickly suppressed these Jingman yin soldiers with absolute crushing force. I know that this matter cannot be solved so easily. The general under Zhang Yucheng will definitely come as soon as possible. Just when I gave the order to eliminate these Jingman yin soldiers, a man's voice suddenly sounded in my ears. You are Lu Su. I was stunned for a moment and looked around. I saw a Jingman yin soldier looking at me in disbelief. He was held captive by the yin soldiers of the Han dynasty and could not move. I came to him and asked, "Do you know me?" The Jingman yin soldier nodded towards me and said with some excitement, "I know you. Of course I know you." I looked at this Jingman yin soldier with some confusion. I don't have much contact with the Jingman city god. If I did, I would be a ghost master. The Jingman yin soldier seemed to have noticed my doubts, and he said, "You once saved the Xie family's retainers in front of my young master." This sentence instantly reminded me of the previous incident of Mr. Ghost's marriage robbery. I became even more confused and asked, "Didn't I send you all to the underworld? Why are you still here on Earth?" As soon as these words came out, a look of loneliness appeared on the face of the Jingman yin soldier in front of him. He said, "I was originally ordered by the old city god to secretly protect the young master. At that time, I hid in the dark and did not appear. You can't believe everything the yin soldier in front of you says." I continued to ask, "Then when you saw your young master in danger, why didn't you help him instead of hiding in the dark?" The yin soldier raised his head and said, "You did not harm my young master, and you became brothers with him. And I think reincarnation is a good thing for them." Yin Bing continued, and we have been waiting for the young master to come back. We firmly believe that he will lead us to take back Jingmen City God. While Yan Bing was talking, I kept observing the changes in his expression. In my opinion, he was not lying. I asked, "Where is Xie Tiansheng at this time?" Yan Bing replied, "Longjing Lock." His words convinced me that he was not lying. Just when I wanted to continue talking to him and find out something about Jingmen City God, a powerful yin qi came from afar. Yan Bing's expression changed, and he said to me in a panic, "We can't help ourselves now, the soldier talisman is in his hand, we can only obey his orders. Lu Su, I beg you, help my young master regain the Jingmen City God? If you can agree, I will, even if I am shattered to pieces." I nodded and said very seriously, "Don't worry, I will help Xie Tiansheng." The yin soldier looked grateful. He thought for a while and then said, "Suolongjing is located in Corpscu village. As long as you can find Corpscu village, you can find Suolongjing. Please rescue my young master." As soon as he finished speaking, Yan Bing's eyes gradually became hollow. Immediately afterwards, his whole body began to struggle violently, trying to break free. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded in my ears. "Lu Su, I didn't expect you to come here." I followed the sound and saw the ghost general and the old woman looking at me coldly not far away. Sudden. There was a dull sound of footsteps, and an ancient sedan appeared at the end of the road not far away. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 787. The night was so thick that it seemed like endless thick ink was heavily smeared on the sky, and the ancient sedan was like a ghost ship on the sea on a moonlit night, eerie and terrifying. Soon the ancient sedan arrived in front of me. Those defeated yin soldiers knelt down. The curtain of the ancient sedan was opened, and the ugly, short city god walked out of it. The appearance of the Jingmen City God plunged the surroundings into deathly silence, and the atmosphere instantly dropped to freezing point. He looked at me with a gloomy expression, and a strong pressure spread from him. The Jingmen City God said coldly, "Hand over the City God seal and I can circumvent you." If it were before, I would definitely be overwhelmed by the aura of Jingmen City God. But today is different from the past. There is a qualitative difference between me now and before. If you have the ability, come and get it yourself. Jingmen City God's face turned cold, and he slowly stretched out his hand and said, "Boy, if you don't drink a toast, you will be punished with a drink." Along the way, countless thin wires as sharp as steel wires came towards me with an overwhelming force. This is the temple technique of Jingmen City God, soul silk. Master Gui once told me that the soul thread is condensed by the soul. The stronger a person is, the stronger the soul thread will be. I suddenly stretched out my left hand and activated the Pure Lotus seal. A pale white halo spread from the Pure Lotus seal on my palm, forming a white shield that enveloped me. The sharp soul threads cut hard on the white light. I frowned. I could clearly feel the power of the soul silk, and the Jinglian mark was a bit unbearable. I summoned the heavenly secret and drew the 5 elements talisman. Gold, green, blue, red, and brown, 5 kinds of rays of light surrounded me, my face became stern, and the 5 elements formation unfolded. The earth wall rose from the ground, directly isolating the soul threads from outside. Immediately afterwards, countless vines spread out and attacked the surrounding soul threads. The fire and the water separated the soul threads. I was in the eye of the 5 elements array, and I was just able to avoid the damage from the soul thread. However, the soul thread of Jingmen City God was simply too powerful, and the 5 elements formation was broken before it could hold on for even a minute. At this moment, the yin soldiers in the Sea of Ghosts stood in front of me and dealt with the soul thread for me. The Jingmen City God is indeed very powerful, but I, Lu Su, am not jealous. No matter how powerful someone is, I can handle them. Haven't I defeated the dragon and the ghost king that seemed invincible before? I opened the 9 eyes heaven realm and disappeared instantly. When I reappeared, I was already on the side of the road. I held the heart sword in my hand and the 9 layers of thunder Jew seal in my hand, and bursts of thunder could be heard in the air. Last time in Zanza Tower, because of the Qi gathering formation, Su Tianxuan's Qi, and Lu Hangxuan's help, I was able to use such a powerful thunder. But now I can only stack the 9th level of thunder to the 4th level, and it will take some time to stack it to the 5th level. There's no time for me to do that now. Thunder and lightning wrap around Shangxin's sword like a blue dragon. I take back the netherworld ghost sea, I don't want to harm these Yin soldiers. The Jingmen city god looked at me coldly, with that ugly face that made people feel disgusted. Without any hesitation, I swung my sword, and the thunder dragon hovering on the heart sword flew out of the air and attacked directly towards Jingmen city god. Wherever he passed, there were bursts of thunder and the air shook. A dignified look flashed in the eyes of Jingmen city god. I raised my hand to cast the soul thread, and the dense soul threads gathered into a large net in the air, heading straight towards the thunder dragon. Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanba. Chapter 788. Boom. Thunder exploded and lightning flashed. Those extremely sharp soul threads were instantly swallowed up by lightning. After the surroundings calmed down, I looked in the direction of Jingmen city god. I saw him standing there intact. The current situation is very unfavorable to me. Because my opponent is not only Jingmen city god, but also the general beside him. The Jingmen city god seemed to have lost his patience with me, and he walked towards me step by step. Hurry up and hand over the Cheng Huang seal. I can keep your soul. Just when I was about to use the golden light killing array, a cold voice sounded in my ears. Go away, I can let you go. Hearing this voice, I was slightly startled, turned around and saw Su Tianxian slowly walking out of the darkness. Master. Su Tianxian came to my side, looked me up and down, and when he saw that I was not injured, his frowning eyebrows slowly relaxed. She looked at Jingmen city god and said coldly, I'll give you 2 choices. The first is to get out. The second is to die. After Jingmen city god saw Su Tianxian, his face became very ugly, and his eyes were full of fear. After hesitating again and again, Jingmen city god said fiercely to Su Tianxian, Su Tianxian, just wait for me. After that, he took the people and left here. After Jingmen city god left, I saw Miao Fengluan running over from the other end of the road. She came to me and asked with concern, Lu Su, are you okay? I shook my head. I just casually asked her to bring in reinforcements, but I didn't expect that she actually brought Su Tianxian over. Su Tianxian said calmly, let's go. I nodded and returned to the hotel with Su Tianxian. I told her everything that had just happened. After hearing this, Su Tianxian nodded and said, just in time, I also found the location of the 4 evils, which is the corpse mountain Gusi you mentioned. I was slightly stunned, there was such a coincidence in the world. However, I also had some doubts in my heart, so I asked, Master, where exactly is the corpse mountain Gusi? Su Tianxian thought for a moment and said, Xiao Su, do you know which are the 2 most famous professions in Xiangxi? I blurted it out without thinking. The Gu Master and the Corpse Exorcist. Su Tianxian nodded and continued, the Corpse Mountain Gusi is a holy place in the hearts of zombie exorcists and Gu Masters. They believe that no matter how vicious the Gu worms are or how powerful the zombies are, they can be killed by going to the Corpse Mountain Gusi. Purify. I nodded and asked, that is to say, this mountain of corpses and sea of worms is literally a mountain of corpses and a sea of worms. That's right. Su Tianxian paused before continuing, there are not many records about the Gu Sea, but there are very detailed records about the Corpse Mountain. Later, Su Tianxian told me about the Mountain of Corpses. The Book of Mountains and Seas records that 10 miles east of Lishan Mountain, there is a mountain called Corpse Mountain. There are many green jade stones on this mountain, and there is also an animal called a bite. The corpse water gathers into a river to the south. It meanders into the Luoshui River. There are many beautiful jade in the water. The most terrifying thing about the corpse mountain is his existence. According to legend, the corpse mountain is made up of piles of corpses, but there are also plants growing there. Take a tree as an example. Its trunk is made of stark white bones, while its stems and leaves are composed of internal organs and scattered flesh and blood. Moreover, they absorb the essence of the sun and moon on the corpse mountain and grow crazily, which is very terrifying. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Ching Nian Wanba. Chapter 789. This is the only record of the Mountain of Corpses. As for Guhai, Su Tianqian didn't know much about it. I asked, Master, where is the corpse mountain Gusi? Su Tianqian replied, I can only know that it is roughly in the east through stargazing, but it should be easy to find it by looking at the direction of the mountains. I nodded. At this moment, the phone in my pocket suddenly rang. I picked it up and saw that it was Yu Chan calling. I quickly connected. Yu Chan's tired voice came from the other side. Lu Su, what do you want from me? I'm here in Xiangzi, where are you? I have something to ask you for. As a saint from the Miao border, Yu Chan must know the whereabouts of Corpse Mountain Guhai. It would be much easier if she could lead the way. Immediately afterwards, Yu Chan's voice of surprise came from the other side of the phone. You came to Xiangzi. That's right. Yu Chan asked me where I was, and I told her our current location. Okay, I understand. Where are you waiting for me? I'll rush there now. Yu Chan hurriedly hung up the phone. This makes me a little confused. Could it be that Yu Chan and I are in the same city? An hour after hanging up the phone, there was a knock on the hotel door. I opened the door and saw Yu Chan standing at the door dressed in casual clothes. Yu Chan is very beautiful and has a good figure. If Miao Fengluan is cute, pure, and smart, then Yu Chan is gentle and generous. However, Yu Chan's expression was very bad. I quickly invited her in. She first said hello respectfully to Su Tianqian, then looked at me and asked, Lu Su, what are you doing here? I nodded and told her about my search for Corpse Mountain Gusi. Yu Chan was slightly stunned after hearing this, and asked with some disbelief, are you also looking for the Corpse Mountain Gusi? According to Yu Chan, she also has the same purpose as us. Yeah, I have a reason why I have to go somewhere. Yu Chan didn't ask what the reason was. She said, these past few days, I have been searching for the Corpse Mountain Gusi, and I have gained some insights. I motioned for her to continue. According to my investigation, the entrance to Corpse Mountain Gusi is in the Suolong well of Corpse Gu village. Yu Chan's words tied the whole thing together. I not only want to search for the Corpse Mountain Gusi, but also rescue the Ghost Master. If Yu Chan's information is correct, then things will become much simpler. I can rescue the Ghost Master on the way to find the Corpse Mountain Gusi. It just so happens that Yu Chan also knows the whereabouts of Corpse Gu village. If I don't find her, she will leave tomorrow. I asked, how is Grandma Miao doing lately? There was a look of loneliness on Yu Chan's face, and she said, there is a traitor in Miao territory. Granny Miao and my tribe were all caught in the Corpse Mountain Gusi. I searched for the Corpse Mountain Gusi to save them. I frowned, there was a traitor in Miao territory. Grandma Miao helped me, so I won't sit back and ignore it. Don't worry, I will definitely help you. If it weren't for Grandma Miao, I would probably die. The life-saving grace will surely be repaid with a spring of water. Yu Chan lowered his eyes and said softly, thank you. At this moment, a colorful light flashed from between my eyebrows. The figures of colorful butterflies slowly gathered in front of my eyes. She stretched, rubbed her eyes, and said vaguely, "I've slept for too long, and I'm a little hungry, Lusu. Go find me something to eat." Sky Coffin. Author, Qingnian Wanba. Chapter 790. The last time she faced Dream Taper, Cai Dai fell into a coma due to excessive consumption and never woke up. The first thing after waking up is to eat. Where would he go to find those poisons for Cai Dai? What? You didn't prepare anything for me? Kadi put her hands on her hips and said angrily to me. My eyes rolled, and I thought of a way to say it. Didn't you say that the 5 poison pearls can make you stronger? That's why I came here from Tianfu City just to find the 5 poison pearls for you. Kaidi was stunned, looked at me suspiciously, and said, "You didn't lie to me." I shook it. Since I came to Xiangzi this time, I took the 5 poison pearls along the way. It is also a good thing for me that Cai Dai becomes stronger. Cai Dai still didn't believe what I said, so she continued, "Lusu, I'm not stupid. Don't lie to me. If you lie to me, I will be angry." Saying that, Cai Dai waved her pink fist. How cute it looked. "I'm not lying to you, but I have to wait until I solve the matter at hand before helping you find it." At this time, Yu Chan suddenly said, "You mean you want to find the 5 poison pearls?" I looked at Yu Chan and nodded. Yu Chan lowered his eyes and thought for a moment, then raised his head and said, "Don't wait until the matter is over to search again. We will go tomorrow." I was slightly stunned and looked at Yu Chan with some confusion. Yu Chan explained, "The Kijumendi is still the Miao territory's holy gu, and the 5 poison pearls are the Miao territory's sacred objects. The 5 poison pearls were originally prepared for Kijumendi. If she can obtain the 5 poison pearls, her strength will definitely increase significantly, which will also help us to go to the Corpse Mountain Gusi." Yu Chan's analysis made me see her rational side. "Okay, then we'll go look for it tomorrow." Cai Dai also seemed very excited, but she suddenly thought of something. She came to Yu Chan and said very seriously, "My name is not Chiju Meng Dai. I have a name. My name is Cai Dai." Yu Chan was stunned for a moment. Looking at Cai Dai's cute appearance, she raised a smile on her lips and couldn't help but reach out her hand to touch Cai Dai's little head. However, Cai Dai escaped without leaving any trace. She came to me and said, "As promised, you must find the 5 poison pearls for me. You have already given Xiao He a sun and moon pearl." The corners of my mouth twitched slightly. What kind of strange desire to win is this? However, Cai Dai and Xiao He are really happy enemies. Su Tianxian, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke. "Xiao Su, Yu Chan, and Feng Luan will go looking for the 5 poison pearls tomorrow. I have something to deal with, so I won't go with you. However, when you arrive at Corpsegu village, I guess I will too." "Arrive?" I looked at Su Tianxian and asked, "Master, what are you so mysterious about?" Su Tianxian glanced at me and said, "It's nothing. Don't worry, I will be fine as a teacher." Seeing that Su Tianxian refused to say anything, I did not continue to ask further. Early the next morning, when I got up, I knocked on the door of Su Tianxuan's room, but no one responded after knocking for a long time. At this time, a cleaning lady told me that Su Tianxian left early in the morning. I sighed helplessly. My master was good at everything, but he was unwilling to tell me anything. In this way, Yu Chan, Miao Fengluan, and I embarked on the journey to find the 5 poison pearls.